Hello everyone, welcome back to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is the full market analysis volume 38. Again, we go through all of our pairs that we're going to be keeping an eye out for next trading week. And again, it's just going to be a review for the last trading week as well. So we're going to start off with EURUSD, because gold, USDJPY and CAD-JPY will cover them tomorrow in a separate video. So make sure you're subscribed just to see those notifications pop up. And without further ado, guys, we'll start off with EU. So we looked at this pair last week. We did drop a video early on in the week, I believe Tuesday. Again, what we was looking for was a downside bias, and then we had that push to the upside at 1.2. And then what we spoke about was price to eventually, start to lose momentum. And now again, we were looking at a bullish bias. So what I'm looking out for is just for price to come back into a 1.2 level, see how it reacts to that point, and then if we do see any signs of weakness, I want to see if we can hold a trade into 1.23. And again, this is just a level in the market that I think that we could find some resistance, or it's a good area in the market to target. So yeah, I'm looking at that level and this setup in a place. So as we see here, we've been in a channel, and this is where the targets have come across. This zone is the high that we made in the 1st of September, and I'm still waiting for that retest to some degree before we can get an entry to the upside. So that's all for EU. Moving on to NZDUSD, what we can see here is pretty much price ascending towards the upside. We can see how price is very slowly, chopping up to the upside, and I think this is losing momentum. This is why we use the RSI indicator just as a confluence. Again, we can see that we do have divergence coming into play here. So I am looking for sells in the market. Again, I want to make sure that we have that bearish pressure into the market. This golden level here is the 618 zone, so it's between 0.68 to 0.675, and I think price could push into this level, have a reaction at this point, and then could be looking out for longer term buys. Again, this is just a scenario that I think could happen, but we'll keep a close eye on this, because I do want to catch this sell-off at some point, whether it's midway or right at the top. It's not going to do too much of a difference, but we're going to be looking at about 250 pips downfall if we do get to target the 0.68 level. And yeah, we can see how if we was to draw a trend line, we're slowly taking a cut already. So potentially next week we could see that drop off. So again, that's what I'm pretty much looking out for next week. AUDUSD, the same story again. I am looking out for a push into 0.72. This zone again is the 0.618 level. So yeah, again, if I was to draw, just a simple trend line, we can see how we're just cutting in between, and we are experiencing some level, a degree of divergence here. So if we start to see price cut off to the downside with enough bearish pressure, we could see price come into the 618 before we can look at further buys. Again, the what I'm looking out for long term wise is that buying opportunity. The counter trend is still worthy. Again, it's just really how long you want to hold your trades, and again, this is why the week to week analysis gives you an indication, because I don't just try and explain the first move. I try and explain my thought processes, and the long-term vision that I have about the pair. So yeah, guys, I hope you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So yeah, AUD, that's pretty much where I'm looking at for that. USDJPY, CAD-JPY we'll look at tomorrow. EJ, I've got what I was looking at for this week. Ideally I was looking at this level to see if we could find a pretty much not a rejection in it such, but for price to just peep above and then have that sell-off. But there was a lot of strength in the market here. So you know, this is obviously good news because we could be in the process of, you know, a further continuation to the upside. And you know, that's obviously, you know, much easier trading opportunities, because we can look into taking a sell if you really did want to as a counter trend. But I will be looking for potentially the buying opportunity, just because of the risk to reward. Personally, for me, is just, I'm not really trying to. I think there's more upside opportunity than the downside. So again, that's what I will be doing. Of course, you can trade at your own will, of course, but I am looking at 125 for signs of weakness before a potential push to take out that, wherever the current high is, once we get that downfall, to take out this current high and ascend further. We could even test you know, the downtrend as sorry, the uptrend as well. So I'm going to be keeping that as a second barrier of support, because we could see price come into again the downtrend, sorry, the uptrend before that second push. So that's just a second option, but you know, just keep out a look for those two. I think we could get some manipulation around that trend line. Same thing again with NZDJPY. I am looking out for a similar situation in the market where we are, you know, looking for that downside move. We can see, you know, vaguely that we do have that cut into the market. We are seeing a slight sell-off, but I'm not entirely too convinced, judging by the momentum. We do technically have divergence here, but it's ever so slightly. I'm looking at this peak here in relation to this, so I think we could still have one more push towards the upside. But long term, I am thinking for price to eventually cut into to make its way into this box here, 71.0. That's ultimately the 618. And as price comes, well, as price pushes further higher, this obviously this zone will vary. So just keep the 618 zone is just from this low to the wherever the current high is, and you know, just mark out an area. And if we do get this sort of action, you know, I want to see price to take out that current high. So, you know, this action here. So there, like I said, there is a lot of pips here to be made. 250 down and potentially 300 up. So again, it's really, if you want to trade counter trend or with the trend, again, there's a lot of opportunity here. So yeah, that's where I'm looking out for that pair. AUDJPY is on next one. And if we take a look at this pair, we can see we're slowly stepping up, and likewise you see a similar pattern engaging here with the JPY pairs. We can see that we are stepping up, both of them, well, all pairs are more or less stepping up. And ultimately I just want to see how price plays out with this one, so I'm going to take a step back. I want to see how price is, because it's really close to this trend line here. We're getting multiple touches here. I want to see if we're going to find any manipulation into the market. If we have a look at the RSI, we do have an indication of divergence here. So again, if I just to draw this, you can see how the peaks here don't match up the price action peaks. So again, there is a slight divergence. So potential loss of momentum, meaning we could get a retracement. If I was to just draw something, if I was to draw the 618 fib, seeing as we have done with the others, we could look at the 50% to the 618, so somewhere like here. Drop it in yellow, make it a bit dark actually. But yeah, we can see price as a possibility of coming to this area. I'm not saying by chance that it will definitely come to this area, but you know, it's a good estimation of where we could find a likely possible buying opportunity. And you know, this is where we could get that flow. And if we do get this action and we see that bullish momentum kick back in, we will be looking to take out that current the current high into the market and see it ascend further. So yeah, that's where I'm looking at for that pair. So again, just waiting for that drop off before we consider any selling opportunities or buying opportunities. So looking at the last two pairs, USDCHF. Now this one, I've been waiting a very long time for this to, play out. But what we can see is that, price is making its strength to the downside. I think there is a possibility of a pullback at some point. So if I was to pull out the fib here, it slowly sort of matches the 50% fib here with this zone. So we could see some overthrow. So we could see price come back into this zone here, which is where I'm, potentially looking to take a sell from. I'm not really looking to buy just yet. I really want to see how price responds to this point of this zone here. So roughly at 0.902, and again, judging by that fib that we just drew, we could expect some overthrow. So we could expect price to overcome this level, and then we have that push, and I want to see price take out the prior low. And then what I'll be looking for is the next move, which I'm again showing quite a lot for this video in terms of future long term, but something like this where ideally we take out the low here and we see the potential buying opportunity here. Again, this isn't obviously the exact to scale of the exact levels, etc., by price, but this is the route that I'm looking out for, and then ideally I want to see price take out and shoot up to 0.93. Again, this is very optimistically speaking, as I always do get a bit carried away in terms of long-term projections, but ideally let's just focus on the first step and take it as it comes. So again, just looking for that upside opportunity and seeing if we can get a failure to the downside. If we take a look at the RSI, we can see we're already oversold here, so there is a possible indication that we could be pushing higher. That's why I'm looking at that zone here. And again, yeah, pretty much I'm looking at this level here to see if we can get a possible push lower and then that upside. But again, we'll take it as step by step as the weeks progresses. So looking at the final pair for this video is USDCAD. Now it was an absolutely an absolute great opportunity if you manage to find that entry here. But again, like I always say, there's not to worry. There's always plenty trading opportunities into the market. So I've got a zone drawn out here roughly at 1.31, and again, same with the USDCHF. I am looking for a retracement into this zone. So ideally, I'm looking at the 50 fib, and we could get an overthrow at the 618. So you could look at 1.315 as well. But you can see how close the 0.5 matches in line with this zone here, which is a dynamic resistance to support. We had that huge sell-off here, and I'm going to show you the RSI as well just in a second. But I'm looking out for price to make its way into this level, 1.31. And we could find price to again find another resistance, find a lot of sell-off pressure again. And ideally, if we do find that something like this, like I said, there is an opportunity to take it down, and I want to see price take out the prior low. So once we do that, again, this will set up for our next opportunity, which we can think about into the future. But let's just take a look at the pip side opportunity to the upside. So it's around 300, and again the downside just a bit more than 300. So yeah, so as I was saying, the RSI indicator, if we could judge it by the momentum in the market, that we are we are in the oversold condition. And again, there is a possibility that we could have that retracement again, or coming into confluence that we could have a retracement. And retail logic, if we were to draw a downtrend here, this is where ideally people are placing their downtrends. We get that cut up to the upside. Lots of I feel like there's going to be a lot of trouble around this area. With retail logic and trading in this sense, and then we could look at resistance here, and the banks pushing the market all the way back down to take out that low, leaving a lot of people with a lot of confusion in the market. So again, this is the tricks of the trade. Be one step ahead of the game. That's what I say. So that's all I have to say for this week. Looking at last week, there was a lot of slow momentum. We personally got stung out with the EU trade. We were looking for those shorts, but again, we can see that we were looking now for the upside opportunity. So there is a lot of chance for us to come back into the market. Again, guys, we are looking into December, so we could expect some slower trading momentum, but I still think that we are in possibility to make some good trades for this month. So hopefully we can finish off 2020 strong for this year. And yeah, guys, so if you did make it all the way to the end, make sure you're subscribed. I do appreciate your time for watching. Leave a like, leave any comments. Feel free to let me know what you're thinking. If you have any biases towards any pairs, if you agree, if you disagree, feel free to let me know. If you want any other questions answered, let me know in the comment section below, either on my Instagram or Telegram. And that's it, guys. So thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you all tomorrow, where we take a look at gold, CAD with JPY, and I believe a USDJPY. Okay, guys, so thank you very much for listening, and see you guys all in the next one.